Welcome guys to another brand new scout report, and today we are scouting Carson Schwesinger. Carson Schwesinger is the next to get on the scout report for linebackers. And again, you're looking at Schwesinger, and to me, I'm really a fan of what I see on his tape. Now, a couple of games the games that I'm going off and gonna talk about: Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Fresno State. They're the games that I've gone off, and I think really, because he is a really good upstart. Again, again, it's not about, and I've said this before, but it's not about drafting what you need. Sometimes it's not about drafting what you need in the draft. It's about who at the time is available on the board. So again, if Schwesinger is still on the board, say in the second round, you know, you get him instantly. There's a lot of teams that could do with it, that could help, would need depth at linebacker. But if Schwesinger is still available in the second round and he hasn't gone yet, take him, because again, you're filling positions that you need, and he with, you know, Gerard Campbell with Jared Campbell and Jalen Walker, I think, are the three best linebackers in this class. But Schwesinger has really impressed me. I think he's really gonna maybe he's gonna go in the first round, like a number of years ago, or number 2 years ago, when we drafted Jack Campbell. I was like, this dude isn't a first round pick. And then it's like, again, it's not about who. Again, it's about who's still on the board and what position. It's who's best on the board, and if Schwesinger's still on the board, so even in the first round, if you can sneak a first round pick for Schwesinger, like what happened with Jack Campbell a number of years ago, take him, because again, he's going to fill a spot on the roster that needs help, and you can develop him. But anyway, let's talk about his strengths first. So his strengths, one thing I was impressed with on his tape was he has a quick trigger downhill. He has a good trigger down the field with natural instinct to shoot gaps and beat the blockers, and beat blockers in the running game. Like, he was fantastic doing some quick trigger down the hill, down the field movements. He has great natural instincts, and then that makes he can shoot gaps and beat blockers to get to the quarterback and get a couple of sacks. And then one other thing that really impressed me on his tape was he plays loose. He has a loose, and he plays with loose hips and foot in coverage. He has a clean pedal in his transition, where you look at his transition. After he's done his great hip movement, he has a clean transition that again he can get at the tight end and get at the wide receivers and really take them to task. That's one thing, again, what really impressed me when I saw him on his tape. Like, man, that's impressive. That again, his foot coverage is fantastic as well. So he has great foot coverage. He can transition that. Into getting on the tight end's back and really just making their life an absolute nightmare, and it can be a bad day for a tight end or wide receiver. Let's put it that way. One thing that I did like is that he has a savvy route recognition about himself, where when different offensive plays from offensive coordinators, like different play calls, like he's not fazed by the offensive coordinator playing different plays and stuff like that. Like when he's very route savvy, and he will be a good leader for a defensive line, like, you know, to just keep calm, and we'll deal with it and stuff like that with some of these routes and stuff. But again, he knows how to read. He can read the game well with his route recognition. He can consistently finds work in zone coverage, and with his own, he consistently finds work in the zone and processes the combination plus his combination of quick speed, and then he has a nasty demeanor as a blitzer. Like as a blitzer, you don't want to go like I said a couple minutes ago. You don't want to go at him as a blitzer. He has a nasty demeanor, and he can just he can really put pressure on the quarterback. You could see it a couple times with Minnesota and Fresno State and a couple of the games that I've seen. But he was really, as a blitzer, really that really impressed me. And another couple of things that I got here. He's only got 3 years experience at college level. Now, one of them was only as a starter. I'll get to that in a minute. But he has a plus he has a body control and balance as a tackler. So again, he doesn't lose his footing as a tackler. He's got some good footwork and keep himself on the ground. He's not like I was looking at a couple of other linebackers in this class, and sometimes when they was going in as a tackle, they would look a bit sloppy, not really do well in the keeping themselves on the ground. They'll even fall on their ass. It doesn't look good. And then after he keeps his control and balance as a tackler, he can break down the field and then ultimately go for a touchdown or go for a turnover, then go for a touchdown, and so you can turn over the game or you can go for a touchdown. And then he has great he has a great engine, being a side to side range. Again, he will be chasing down any balls down the field that he can carry in space and just make things work. Couple of things on his weakness side, things that I saw. Again, he's only got 1 year as a starter, as a starting linebacker, for UCLA. He's only got 1 year. He's been in college for 3 years, but he's only just been a starter recently in 2024. So it's kind of green as being a starter. So that's kind of something you got to work on. But again, if he's under the right defensive coordinator, that isn't gonna mean shit. Because again, if he's around some good like edge rushers and some good defensive like cornerbacks and stuff, it wouldn't really matter too much. But sometimes that he can have a bit of a thin frame. He has a bit of a thin frame for him being a defensive player. Which again, when he's going up against some a lot physical and heavy offensive linemen in the NFL, he's going to be getting bullied a lot, especially with his thin frame. So again, that's nothing that too bad, but just go to the gym and try to, I go to the gym more, and just go to the gym, like work on your physique, and you can work on that. It's not like, oh my god, it's a bad thing, but he does have kind of a thin frame. I don't want to like dig like whatever, but you can look at him. He does need a bit bulking up a bit more, especially if he's going against some elite offensive if he's going against some elite offensive linemen, that's going to be a problem. He's still kind of raw. He has a kind of raw stack and shed ability. Struggling to disengage. Basically bigger offensive tackles, like I said, with his frame being a bit thin. He kind of struggles to disengage bigger offensive linemen, and he kind of latches onto their bodies on the point of attack, and that's something again you can coach it out of him. And obviously, what I said with the other one, going to the gym. The other two things that I got here, you can play too fast down the hill, down the field at times. Again, you can get caught peeking in the backfield with overruns that sometimes don't fit and don't really work. So that's something that again with good coaching, you can coach that out. But and then built in, he has a again, he has a kind of a limited. Again, his frame is like gonna limit him here, but again, like I said with his frame, like you can work on your physique in the gym, so it's not whatever. And then for the summary that I have here, so again, the system that you could put him in, you could put him in a 4-3. Again, he works well in a 4-3. He was playing in a 4-3 defensive system at UCLA. So he's, again, if you want to plug him, you can put him in a 4-3 system. It'll be great as a 4-3 system. Again, you still need to develop a couple of things in his game. But again, a couple of the games that stood out to me, the Washington game that I did see as well, he had 17 total tackles, 10 sacks, and 7 assists. Now that was one of his best games he had. Now, the other game he had was against, I think against Penn State, when he had like 11 assists, 50. He had 15 total tackles, 11 assists, and about 6 assists, 11 solo tackles, and he had 15 total tackles. But again, when in his last year at college, he was putting up some good numbers, especially as a linebacker. Like he had, like I said, 17 total tackles, 17 in total tackles. Like I said, 10 solo tackles, and 7 assists, just in the Washington game. So. Again, I'm looking at Schwesinger. Again, it's not about, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not about, we need to address this position and this position. It's who's still on the board, and who is the best player on the board. Because again, yes, the positions matter, and you need to find the right things to, in the draft and free agency, to build your team, and the GM's got to build a team, but you've got to make sure that you have the right guy that's going to fit your system. So again, if you have a defensive coordinator that goes for a 4-3, then you put him in there. Now again, can he play a 4-man? Can he play a 4-man cover? Maybe, but again, 4-3 is his best scheme system, I think, and he was playing a lot of that at college. But yeah, leave your guys' thoughts in the comments.